Welcome to the Spare Parts Racing Podcast, your podcast for all things motorsports. With your hosts, Sean Chavarella, Stephen Clary, and Taylor Moore.
Hear that music?
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Spare Parts Racing. I'm your host, Sean.
And I'm Steven.
And Steven, how you doing this week?
Not so bad. Finally got out for first round of golf, and it's only, June.
Wasn't last week your first round of golf?
First solo round.
Okay,
not
fair
counting
enough.
the scramble.
Yeah, I mean,
It's easier when you can hit every best shot.
I just love that the first thing you bring up is me beating you at golf. So this is fantastic
Yeah.
start. So
Yeah, you had already golfed.
no, I hadn't. It's the exact same as you.
Yes, you did. You had played holes.
So had you. Anyway, fine. I guess we should acknowledge the lack of Taylor this week. It is just us two.
Yep.
Taylor is in Montreal, and she will be our eyes and ears on the ground in Montreal. So hopefully, if there are any shenanigans like there were last year or anything else like that, we'll have a good first-hand account of it. So
Exactly.
But yeah, speaking of Montreal, I'll be honest. I'm rather annoyed this week because a lot of things in the news have pissed me off. First of all, is Montreal in its place in the 2026 F1 calendar, and I've seen a lot of people online equally angry with the death of Motorsports Christmas, Stephen.
Yep. Scott McLaughlin put it best when, where was it here? Where was it? He had a really good tweet where it was just like, it was when I just had it up. But the problem is I was scrolling past it to try and find something else.
It was something about blaming the FIA or F1 for the death of Motorsports Christmas, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah. You know, we saw this coming. We had predictions. We thought this might be the case with them moving Canada and Monaco. But yeah, here we are. And Motorsports Christmas is no longer a thing. And the Canadian Grand Prix now falls on the same day as the Indy 500 and the Coke 600.
Yep. And I think there will be not direct overlap, but significant overlap.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, there is.
So, like, the race probably starts at, 3 for Montreal, and then... So, you got 2 hours into the... Or 2.5 hours into the Indy 500, as long as you don't have a weather delay. So, it's going to be interesting to see these two go head-to-head. And I only say interesting to see what the numbers are year over year between this year and next year, and I want to see how hard it hits F1.
That's fair. I also am going to be curious how the new date is. Like, does it do well with Montreal? Is there going to be snow or some late cold weather in May? Because you can still have that here.
We had that this year.
Yeah, we didn't get a plus 20 degree day until first week of June.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's kind of nuts. We can talk about the whole 2026 schedule in a minute. But I had, this is my thought with this news. I'll be honest. I need you to tell me if I am overreacting to this or if there is some validity to this statement.
Okay.
And the statement is, Canadian race fans have been getting screwed in every series for the last few years.
Yes, I would put a slight amendment on that in terms of it's not always the series doing the screwing. We can get into that closer to Toronto with all the shenanigans going on here, because that is not within Indycar's control, as an example. But, yeah. Overall, high-level statement.
Okay, so looking at Montreal, obviously there is a lot of crap going on there. They're moving the date. They have this whole excuse of, oh, we want to make it easier for logistics and shipping and keep everything together. But you put a 3-week break between Montreal and Miami.
Yeah. again, it's one of those things, high level. Yeah, you know what? This is what fans have been asking for. You know, why wouldn't you have Miami and Montreal? Like, why wouldn't you have certain legs closer together? And then you have Monaco right into Spain, and then so it was Austria. Like, it's truly a European summer.
Yeah.
For the series, and that makes sense. But yeah, like, why wouldn't you have it back-to-back weeks? Because everybody's just gonna fly home for 2 weeks.
No,
and
honestly, I believe that the FIA is wanting to get Montreal off the counter. I think they want to move it up. They're going to hope for some bad races, maybe with weather. It's going to be logistically a challenge to go 3 weeks break from Miami to Montreal. People will be annoyed by it. And I think this is the grand scheme of plan, this is tinfoil hattie, of the FIA. They want Montreal gone. Despite Montreal having a contract for like the next 10 years, Montreal's not going to survive that contract.
we get rid of Montreal, and instead we do 3 straight American races, because that is even better logistically.
No. You're on to something there. You do get rid of Montreal, and it gets replaced with another race in the Northeast, but this time in the United States.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, but right? Which race? Remember how they've been... you know how they've thrown an idea of New York?
Oh, a New York... Yeah, and they've seen Formula E do it for a decade now, so...
Their goal is to get rid of Montreal and replace it with New York. That is truly my tinfoil hat theory.
I think there's validity to that. I don't think it would come to fruition. I do think this is still screwing over Canadian fans with how wacky our weather can be, and it sort of needs to be. But I don't know, because I'm also looking through where else do you squeeze it in here? Because if you try and throw it in,
what's the point? Again, you're legitimately lying to the fans and saying this is for logistics reasons, because we don't need to have an accidental extra crisscross. Okay. Fine. You don't want your going back and forth. But it's been fine forever when logistics in the sport was at an all-time, was way harder back in the early 2000s as compared to nowadays. Any sport that says, oh, we can't do it because of logistics is just lazy.
Yeah. And
this idea that, one, you're killing Motorsports Christmas. You're going to damage the Canadian Grand Prix and the pedigree around the event, which at a time used to be one of, I would say, the top 5 races on an F1 calendar. If we go back 20 years and look at motorsports in Canada in the global scene compared to now, it's atrocious. Back then you had Indycar racing 3, you had F1 in Montreal. You had NASCAR also in Montreal in the early 2000s. You then had NASCAR coming up to CTMP. You have IMSA at CTMP. IMSA came back to CTMP. However, they've quickly decided to pull out the GTPs, so you no longer get the top cars there. Yep. You're down to 1 IndyCar race in just Toronto versus when you had 3 in Vancouver and Edmonton as well. So everything in Canadian motorsports is just being chipped away.
Yep.
And we're just getting absolutely bent over by all the series because they don't think we're a legitimate market, it seems.
Yeah, well, smaller population, it's a tricky win. I'm not defending the choice here. I will say it is a little bit trickier. You think of places like the Middle East, Singapore, where it's realistically, we can race here at any time. It's actually better to race off of the Canadian North American schedule, because it's so hot. We actually need the cooler temperatures. So some of those fall and spring dates work better for us. So, but yeah, it's frustrating to say the least.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm just trying to think of where else. So if you're redesigning the schedule, where are you putting? How are you reworking this? Are you doing? Because how they're setting up, they've actually realigned it decently from a logistics standpoint. It's doing Australia, China, Japan, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia.
I actually
that's
agree
actually-
that the schedule as a whole is pretty good if your idea is you're trying to keep it based on
Regions.
yeah. Like, yeah, you start in the Pacific, then you go to the Middle East, then you go to the Americas with Miami and now Montreal, then you go Monaco, Barcelona on all your European ones, then you go Baku as you're heading back east, and then you go to Singapore, and then you have, again, your return to the Americas with Texas, Mexico, Brazil, Vegas, and then back to the Middle East. So in terms of the region play, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What I hate about this stuff and this whole regionalization of it is it's bullshit. You can't tell me a team is not going to fly back to its base and then go there if there's a 2-week, 3-week gap between races. You can't tell me they're going to Miami and then they're going to stay in North America for 3 weeks before the next race.
Yeah.
That is utter bullshit. It doesn't like, you're going to fly them back and you're going to fly them over there.
Yeah, financially it wouldn't make sense to house people in hotels for 3 weeks.
Yeah. So, and are you going to complain? Oh, it's about the freight. You're not telling me this isn't NASCAR. We're not putting the cars in a hauler and bringing it up there. The freight for Montreal is a freight that was probably going to be coming from like Bahrain, like 5 things earlier. That's how F1 freight is designed. They pack everything like 3 or 4 races in advance and send it on.
Yep.
So I ask, who is this benefiting? This whole thing, I understand it's to make it seem regional.
It's optics.
It's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, optics bullshit. They've regionalized 2 races when realistically you're still flying from the Middle East.
Yep.
To Miami. Like that's all it is.
You're also going to go from like, and this is a hilarious thing of the calendar as a whole. May is going to suck.
Yeah.
Like from Jeddah to Monaco is 5 weeks. I think in between. You have a week break after Jeddah. You have then Miami, 3-week break, Montreal. Then another week break, Monaco. So in a series where you've packed everything so tightly in some regions, you're going to have a massive break right after the beginning of their season.
Where are you getting a 5-week break from Jeddah to Miami?
No, it's a 2-week break. I'm saying 5 in like it's 5 weeks between Jeddah to Monaco.
Sorry, yes.
Or 5 or 6, and in that 6 weeks or 5 weeks, you only have 2 races. When
Yeah,
most of the calendar, almost every 4 weeks, you get 2 races.
You're pulling an Indycar.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe all the outrage. Well, no. I was going to say, maybe all the outrage will do something. We know it's not.
I have a really bad feeling with the 2026 F1 calendar as a whole, though. Well, the whole F1 season.
Yeah?
You're bringing in new regulations that none of the teams really seem eager to bring in.
The testing has been subpar.
Manufacturers are not too happy on the engine side. Everyone is trying to downplay what they have because I think everyone thinks they have a shit. You're going to have a schedule that on paper makes everyone happy, but I think might cause more issues like the Montreal situation. Yeah, I'm just also trying to think, like, isn't next year the last year of Barcelona? So you got 2 Spain races too?
Yep.
I don't really see... Like, I honestly feel peak F1 has to be 2021 at this point. I feel like we haven't come close to that high as an F1 fan. And I don't think F1 next year is going to do that.
Well, only thing next year that could help is if you get multiple race winners, championship that goes down to the final 2 races, and that being, when I say championship, drivers and constructors.
It's probably not, because it rarely does on new regulations.
Yeah.
Usually one team figures something out more than the others.
Yeah. And then everyone else plays catch up.
Now, if next year is a year where just, I don't know, Aston Martin goes and wins everything, I'll shut the fuck up and say it's a great year. However, I don't think that's going to happen. So, I'm not happy, basically, is where I want to get with this. I think this is just another shot at Canadian race fans. I think we're not doing so hot in terms of being on the radar for a lot of series. And, I think we need to do more. Canadian race fans need to do more and demand more because we need races here. Let's get NASCAR back up here. Let's get maybe another IndyCar race. Listen, Montreal, if Montreal is being shafted by fucking F1, IndyCar needs to go there.
Yeah, that would be a great move.
Would be fantastic.
Do it. Well, no, you can't do it. I was gonna say do it the week before, but do it the week or the same week as Monaco, just for shits and gigs.
Honestly, it'd be hilarious. Because what would that be? What Monaco would be now? June
It's the
7th?
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair. I would actually say do it the week before Toronto, if there's a Toronto. Still see how that's going.
Yep. No, I feel like July. It's almost getting too late into the summer. Maybe, I don't know.
It's IndyCar. They at least can race.
Yeah, calendar's wide open, so.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing to do. IndyCar needs to go to Montreal. That's the greatest FU that they can do.
Yeah. Well, and I guess the good news is, say F1 in the next, or by 2030, so in the next five years, Montreal comes off the F1 calendar. I don't think it will. I think there's too much history there for it to come off.
What? Are you kidding me?
What?
Oh, yeah, there's too much history there. I've watched this entire F1 regime under fucking...
I say that, and they're literally taking out Spa.
Fuck you to everything. Spa's going.
Yeah.
Fucking Barcelona's going. What else is going to be going soon?
Who knows? Everything.
Yeah. So, on that, so much history. You know what the F1 says to history?
So I looked at Spa as soon as I was saying that, and I was like, yeah, that's a stupid statement. But no, so we've already had, so if you get IndyCar up here, it'd be great if the rumors of NASCAR coming up to try and do Montreal, and they're in Mexico this weekend, racing at that F1 track. So maybe they're now just like, we need more market share. Canada. They could easily. So
I've seen a lot of people take the Montreal moving date as like, oh, it's an attack on the Indy 500 IndyCar. Indy 500 is the biggest race, I think, in the world. No, it is by attendance-wise, 100%. Nothing beats that. Just because F1 is in Montreal, and if the season's terrible, I don't think it'll have the same viewership as Indy. I think Indy will still pull the majority numbers.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is the race starts earlier, so you know what? I'm going to watch the end of the IndyCar race, and then I'll watch F1 afterwards.
Yeah.
F1 usually puts me to sleep, and then maybe we'll get a late safety car, but at the same time it's Monaco. Or, sorry.
Yeah. But I think you cannot take it as an attack if you're IndyCar. You need to use it. You need to go on the offensive. You're going to be like, okay, you want to move historically one of your more historic marquee tracks. Fine. We will though talk to them and see about holding a race there. Kart used to.
Yeah.
Kart, or I think it was Champ Car maybe back in the day, used to run at Montreal. Why can they not go back?
Yeah.
if you're going to dick around Montreal and say, nope, you can't do it. You lose your June date and you have to go in May. Montreal was the actually the one that requested this. Because they're like, that's as early as we can go. So, I say, yeah, screw them. Fight back. Take the track.
Yep.
Let's use this as getting more shit in Canada.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see how the 6.
What were you reading?
Oh, just reading the replies to Scott McLaughlin's.
God, you ADHD guy. Come on.
Yeah.
We're not even on that. That was like how many minutes ago? Like 5 we were talking about that?
Yeah.
Maybe
no, it's
10?
yeah. No, it's just funny. Someone put the picture of Hinch with the hate cauldron, and I was just like, yeah, that's accurate right now.
You know what? Yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
that is
Fine.
the perfect photo.
Fine.
It's a Canadian with a hate cauldron.
Well,
so
fair enough. On the bright side, we do have a lot of races this week that we should look forward to de-stress.
it's another triple header.
Triple header?
Yep.
Quadruple header.
Oh God.
Le Mans, man. Le Mans is the biggest race of the weekend, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad. Like, well, that's another thing. Montreal this weekend is clashing with Le Mans.
So, yeah,
Again.
what is it? It's Le Mans.
Yep.
Self-explanatory. Canadian GP.
Yep.
St. Louis for Indycar. And then the NASCAR premiere at a track outside of the U.S. for the first time in a long time.
Yes.
As they race in Mexico. So, I guess the real question is, which one do you want to talk about first?
Which one are you most excited for?
It has to be Le Mans.
Answer. For me, it's Le Mans.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot look at that lineup for that race and be like, you know what? Yeah, that doesn't do it for me. I think you have how many? Just trying to find the entry list here to pull it up. I think it was like 7. Was it 7 different manufacturers for the what's it called? For the LMP? Is that it? Yeah. No, I know hypercars, hypercar class. Yeah. I think it's like 7 different manufacturers for the hypercar class.
Yep. You got the Astons, Porsche, Toyota, Cadillac, BMW, Alpine, Ferraris, Peugeot.
And the singular Proton. Oh wait, no, that's in the Porsche. Never mind. Just like that's the one like what's it called? Privateer. Everything else seems to be like an actual factory team.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of sick. So, going into this weekend then, if you're looking at all of those hypercars, who do you think is going to be the one?
Oh. I always loved the Toyotas, but...
Did you see who got pole?
It was... I did see it. Remind me.
Cadillacs.
No.
Front row lockout. 1-2.
So that's Bamber, Bourdais, Button, and... Where was the other team? God damn it.
There's 4 Cadillacs. Actually, I don't know which one. But yes.
Actually, I think I might have read the lineup that has like the second best because I'm looking at the other ones: Ricky Taylor, Jordan Taylor, and Felipe Albuquerque.
That's a fun one for the Cadillacs.
Yeah.
See, I actually think I have a team that's going to, I think, win for Le Mans.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm picking the number 4. Number 4, Porsche Penske. The IMSA representation of the Porsches for this race. Nasser, Tandy, and Wehrlein.
That's a good choice.
Yeah.
Besides, they probably got some cheat on the car.
Actually, funny you mention that. Penske did get disqualified from qualifying yesterday because their car was underweight. So, whoops.
Not the worst cheating they've done yet.
No, it's not the worst. But if I had like a nickel for every time Penske's cheated in the last 18 months, I would have, I don't know, five nickels.
You have a lot of nickels.
Might have a quarter at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's the 12 and then the 38
for the Cadillac. So it's the Hertz Team Jota Cadillacs, the nice gold Cadillacs. Those ones look nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're on pole. Which Porsche's third?
And Lauer Christensen and Jaminet.
Okay, so number 5.
Yep.
Okay. I think everyone's favorite car for this one is the Aston Martins. Everyone loves the Valkyrie. It just sounds great.
Yeah.
V12 was fucking roaring.
Well, and also Aston Martin Thor team.
Yeah. Do you know what Thor stands for?
Nope.
The Heart of Racing.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the Heart of Racing. That's how they've run that one for a while.
Yep. Just sounds like a really good name.
It
doesn't hurt to bring it up.
But I feel like Ferrari, because they won last year, are still probably the favorites.
That's the thing. Like, I think you can have favorites but endurance racing, you're hoping for the best. Like, right? You can't say necessarily who's gonna win any of these teams. It just depends. Like, if everybody else has a problem and like, I was gonna say who's the last car here, and it's the Porsche that got disqualified.
Yeah.
But yeah, like all these lineups are good lineups.
Honestly,
you tell me any of these.
You could say any one of these guys. There's no one you look at who's like, you know what? I think that's a weak team.
Yeah.
And like, you could almost pick a guy on every team, be like, you know what? I'd want to see them win. Like, yeah, I'd kind of want to see Robert Kubica win. I kind of want to see.
Is it bad? I was looking at him too.
Like, I'd love to see Bourdais win. Bourdais, Jensen Button. How do you not cheer for that team?
Yeah.
Looking at the Alpine, how can you not cheer for Mick Schumacher? Like, there's so many guys who you're like, you know what? Yeah, that is a good team. And honestly, let's get a crazy race going. What if all the freaking hypercars don't make it and we can get an LMP2 winner? That would also be amazing.
Okay, that's getting a little too crazy.
Is it? Depends what kind of race you have.
Yep, I would say it's a little too crazy.
We know with these hypercar and with the BOP, they race each other so close. And in 24 hours, hey, like, guys can get taken out. Like, remember in Daytona, the one wreck that, like, it was at the end of, I think, the hypercars, or I guess LMDHs, and it took out like a bunch of guys going through the S's in like turn 2-3 of Daytona.
Yep.
Yeah, that happens to the front of the prototypes here. Hey, or front of the hypercars. That could be a whole bunch of them gone. You could lose a bunch right away in a random incident. So I'm just saying, crazier things have happened. If we ever get a year where an LMP2 wins, it would be one of the greatest Le Mans of all time.
Yeah. We just hope it's Spike.
Honestly, yeah, because they just have the most fun car.
It is.
Yeah, it's fun looking at the entry list for the LMP2s because half of the drivers are just the LMGH drivers from IMSA that just got ported into the LMP2s.
Yeah. Yeah, Delatraz, DaCosta, Fittipaldi.
Yep. Where's my favorite boy? Where's Renger van der Zande. That is my favorite name in all.
Well, there's a name I haven't seen in a while. Théo Pourchaire.
Oh yeah, good to see that he has a ride.
And Jamie Chadwick.
Yeah, again, the Le Mans entry list is fantastic because it's like, oh, there's that name I recognize. There's that name. There's like a whole bunch of like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? And then it's like, oh, I didn't know that person was still racing.
Yep.
So,
well, the one name I always love seeing is Paul DiResta.
That's fair.
It's like, aren't you a commentator now? I thought you were completely done. But
any team you want to win of the LMP2s?
Yeah, I already said Spike.
Okay, I'm gonna go with United Autosports 22 for Pit Fitty and Renger van der Zender. Even though there's no Zender, there's no R, it just sounds better when you say Renger van der Zender. But
yes,
it's fun. Anyone for the LMGT3s?
Ooh.
Also, very fun field. So there's 21 hypercars, 17 LMP2s, 24 LMGT3s.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good field.
Yeah.
There's one answer, I think, for us.
Who's your answer?
Oh, AWA.
AWA, yeah.
That Corvette with the Canadian flag, the full cannon livery. Based on today's conversation,
yeah,
how can you not cheer for that one?
Yeah. The only other one that I hope has a strong performance is the 85, the Iron Dames team. Did you see what happened to Michelle Gadding?
Yes, how she broke her foot in the pit stops.
Yep.
Pit stop practice? Yeah.
Yep. That was a saddening. The fact they filmed the phone call to get
to Sarah Bobby.
Yeah, to get her in. And then she's like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean I'm driving?"
Yeah, she's like, "Oh yeah, I can't." And her showing up and like trying on her suit and everything. Like, honestly, that was a really good PR win for the team.
Yep. So I kind of want to see them do well.
Agreed.
Just, we'll see. But they're gonna have a tough one, especially whenever Bovie's in the car, because she just hasn't been able to do the lead up and ramp up.
Yeah,
but
you got 24 hours to figure it out.
Exactly.
That's a hilarious one. Hey, are you looking at the Wikipedia entry list?
No.
Oh, okay.
Why?
The bottom name of for 193 Ziggo Sport driving the Ferrari, it's Jonathan Hugh from Hong Kong. The reason that's funny, because of our Jonathan from our hockey team.
Yes.
Spelt the exact same way.
Ain't that fun, man? What car is he in?
The 193. Anyway, I just find that hilarious because we've been like, "Where's Jonathan been for like last week?" Because he hasn't been in our hockey. Maybe he's a secret driver.
That would be hilarious.
That would absolutely be hilarious. So anyway, I just thought you would enjoy that.
Yes.
That's for no one except just us.
Yes. But we know he just had a kid, so it's definitely not the case.
Listen, that is a fantastic excuse, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. What have you been doing? I've been training for a 24-hour race. Okay.
I'm going to save that one for the back pocket to make a joke for the hockey team. Anyway, I'm really excited for Le Mans. It should be a good race. It's probably the race I'm going to try to follow the most closely over the weekend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's always a good thing with the 24 hours. You can pay attention to the actual race for the entire back half of your Saturday, right?
Oh, it's fantastic to throw in the background. So.
Then Sunday, I mean, actually Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday morning, you get like at least, I actually don't know if there's any overlap.
From what, Le Mans to everything else? No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Le Mans is going to end, I think, like 10 o'clock our time.
That works out very well. You can squeeze in a quick nap.
Yep, and then we're right into, NASCAR and IndyCar.
Well, it's all going to be, I think it's all basically at the same time.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know which one of those I'd prefer to watch. NASCAR in Mexico or IndyCar Gateway?
Oh, that is tricky. Part of me wants to say Gateway. Actually, Gateway's at 8 o'clock, so
Yeah, it's a night race.
that'll be good. That's a
You know,
night
this is a
race.
really
That'll
good
be-
weekend turning out in terms of looking at the
Yeah.
schedule for this.
Yeah. And then what time is that? Where's NASCAR's start time? 3 o'clock. Okay, so it's exactly head to head with Canadian GP.
All right, I forgot about Canadian Grand Prix there.
You just spent 20 minutes.
I know.
ranting.
Sorry, I pulled an FIA there. Just forgot about it. My bad.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
You know what? I might give NASCAR the benefit of the doubt over the Canadian Grand Prix. I'll watch the start of the Canadian Grand Prix, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah.
Or maybe
And
watch
that- well,
qualifying.
I was gonna say that's the thing now is that I think we've complained enough about it. It's not so much the track, it's more so the series and how the races go typically
Yeah, that's fair.
for F1. So whereas
it's valid.
NASCAR, brand new track on non-oval surface.
Yeah, I feel like that's the next one we got to talk about then, because that one seems exciting. That's new. That is something that they haven't done before.
They've had two planes fail to get off the ground.
That's a rough thing to say today.
Yep.
Oh. But, yeah. What do you think to expect from NASCAR in Mexico City?
I mean, you can obviously hope for Suarez to show out in a home race. He's one of the few that gets a home race other than the American drivers, so yeah, it'd be nice to see Suarez win. Or at least do well. I'll go
I
with
think
do well.
it'll be kind of fun to see all the one-off guys for this race. Or not even the one-offs, but like the road course guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could easily see SVG doing well here. Like
Yeah.
this kind of seems up his alley. Like long
Yeah,
straights, heavy braking, couple twisty like back and forth car movement stuff.
That's what he's here for.
I would really see SVG and Suarez battling this one out. That's what I want to see.
We can hope like I kind of I don't want to just say it'll be the usual. Well, we're gonna watch for the guys that are road course guys, your SVGs, your Suarez's, your McDowell's, your Chase Elliott types. But I have a feeling that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna barring weather.
Weather would make the race the best thing ever all weekend.
Yep. Well, because we already saw what a new track with some rain did in Chicago.
Okay, that's entirely different though. You cannot compare the two.
No, but my point is new track that the drivers don't know. It's a road course, and then also throw the weather in. That's what makes it fun.
That's fair. The issue with Chicago was there's no runoff.
Yes.
And if a car hit the wall, it just created a blockage in the entire track.
Yeah.
So hopefully here, if there is weather on a new track, it would actually be kind of fun because a car can go wide, recover, keep going.
Yeah. More of a Coda vibe.
Yes.
Which was also a fun race.
That was actually pretty good. So we're hoping for a good one, right?
Yeah.
Anything for Gateway while we're here? Because that one I'm actually kind of least excited for because I'm assuming it's going to be like Newgarden, McLaughlin.
Well, okay, but how? Yeah, but
Your
not
usual oval
necessarily.
guys.
yeah, but not necessarily, right? Like it's. I do think it'll like Penske, the Team Penske guys are going to look for revenge after a disappointing month of May.
And getting dummied in front of your own engine manufacturer.
Yep. So yeah, I would look for Newgarden. I always secretly want to cheer for Connor Daly on these shorter ovals. I feel like he could have a sneaky good race, but
I also say David Malukas could do it because he was pretty good here last year.
and he's looked more comfortable with the ovals now,
Yes.
right?
He's looked more comfortable. Last year, what did he finish last year? Or he wrecked out, but he was running really well last year. But he was with Meyer Shank. This year, he's with was it AJ Foyt, and they have Penske set up, so that's another dark horse I'd pick.
Yeah.
If you want to pick an absolute dark horse, that's a chance to win.
Well, your other option is Rinus VK.
Yeah, or even
Right.
Rossi even.
Yeah, I guess.
Carpenter.
Well, yeah. I was mostly saying that because Michael Cannon is now on his pit wall, on VK's pit wall. That's what my thought was.
That's fair.
So the fact that he's got the guy that Prima was going to bring in specifically, hey, can you help us with ovals? And got AJ Foyt's cars to perform on ovals when they were doing shit all otherwise.
No, that's valid. Yeah, that's not a bad pick too.
So and like, not just saying that Michael Cannon's going to make the team fantastic, but VK's already looked like good this year too.
Yes.
So
I'm not going to deny that he has had his races. We know he has pace. He showed it in Indy a couple of years. Like, again, IndyCar is so fucking nuts because honestly, you can look at 10 guys and say, yeah, they can have a chance to win.
Yep. Cautions break your way.
Yep. Let's not forget last year though. Only was it 5 cars finished in the lead lap?
Ey.
So,
but at the same time, that's the thing with these ovals that can happen. We saw it in Texas with.
I prefer
Award.
that because I actually like them going through traffic. Like, what have I always said?
I don't know. You say a lot of things.
Oval racing is endurance racing.
Yeah.
Part of endurance racing is lap traffic and being able to negotiate it. On a track like this, where you're having to fight and get through lap traffic effectively, you don't get it as much nowadays in NASCAR with the stages.
Yep.
But it's a thing, and having a race like last year's, which was one of the better races of the year, if I remember, for ovals.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see how this one goes.
Yeah, I am glad it's off of the rest of the schedule, so you can fully enjoy Le Mans in the morning / Saturday night, and then go through F1 NASCAR and then this.
Yes. Thoughts on Montreal?
Oh, I mean, McLaren's still the favorite, right?
Yes.
It's got to be it.
100%.
So, I guess the intrigue will, as always, be can Max do something? Where are the Ferraris this week? Where are the Mercedes guys this week? Do they challenge at all? Can Yuki figure something out? That's all. Like it is sort of the typical questions going into
F1.
any course.
There's not a
any
whole lot
course.
of talk this week of like changes in F1. No one's saying, like, the biggest talk I've seen is like, oh, maybe Vasseur's job is at risk at Ferrari, and like that's fucking ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
There's
think
no way.
he has made any flaws running that team. I just think they're just not there. When the sport is decided by a 10th, you are missing that 10th. And I don't know if it's the drivers that find that, if it's the engineers. I don't think the team principal finds that 10th.
Not in this situation for sure. Like I don't think the car is fully there. And I mean, you don't know how much the team is focusing on the next year and just saying, like, McLaren's been the favorite for the last 12 months, 16 months, somewhere in there, right? So do we even bother with this year? Do we focus on next year and try and be the best team out of the gate? Like they've had their moments. They've had their Ferrari moments of fumbling strategy. Think back through the last couple races where, you know, Hamilton's questioning strategy, they're flipping cars around back and forth, and it looks like it's the typical Ferrari pit wall. But like, if the car isn't there, it doesn't, like, they haven't challenged really for a win.
Yeah.
Outside of the China sprint race.
Yep.
Right? So,
which you could make an argument there was because the other teams didn't get to nail their setups yet, and Ferrari was able to for that race.
Yeah.
Because they did not have the same pace when we actually got to the race.
Yeah. So, like, it's sort of similar to, I guess, the IndyCar situation of, well, Palou will probably do something, Newgarden will probably do something. There's your top two contenders. I would like to see someone else up there causing chaos, because that's all we ever want is chaos, right? We don't want the same thing week in, week out.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Am I missing anything like lower in the field?
I don't think so. Stroll's back, surprisingly.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to do that because of if you don't, Aston and sponsors will be pissed off if you don't show up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but like,
no surprise there.
I don't know. Williams has a long straight to work with again. Can they show off some speed?
Yeah, they've been struggling in terms of pace. Sauber stepped it up. Maybe they're going to continue their good form, or does someone else catch them? Haas is running a throwback livery that's sort of not a throwback livery.
I don't know if I saw that, to be honest.
Yeah, they're running a livery that's basically based on their original car, though it's not the exact same. It's just kind of 95% the same as their original one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's a cool one-off.
Yeah.
I kind of like that for Canada, but historically they've actually had some good results. So, yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah, it looks closer to like a Cole Custer car in NASCAR. More gray, less white.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, there's also a whole bunch of other stuff in the news we could talk about if we really want to get into it, because I feel like a lot of stuff has happened this week.
Yeah, go for it. Pick something, run with it.
Here's one. Did you see IndyCar delaying their engine and chassis regs?
So when? I didn't even realize that we had like...
Nope. They're setting a date for 2028.
Okay. Backing up from their previously set date of what, 2026, which was then back to 2027.
Which is now back to 2028. Roger will be dead before there's a new IndyCar chassis. I guarantee it.
Probably.
So that's a fun one. I'm not surprised, but like I don't think they have a plan. No. I really don't. No. They're just trying to hold on to stuff.
Yeah. It's cost.
Yes.
They're trying to keep the costs down.
Everyone's trying to keep costs down because costs are exploding. You know how you bring costs down is actually you make revenue go up, and you do that by spending money.
No, that's not how this works. Not in IndyCar's eyes.
How many manufacturers were we talking about when it comes to Le Mans?
Yes.
And that's not even including how many are not there that race hypercars?
Yep.
Like, okay, one second. I'm going back to Le Mans for a second, just to go back on this. There is no... is there a BMW this year? There is BMW. Okay.
Yeah.
There is. There's no no Acura. And there's no... What's the other one? I know we're missing another one, I think. Oh yeah, no Lamborghini.
Huh.
Yep.
So they're already missing their top two, or two of their top manufacturers.
Yep. Next year you're gonna have Genesis. Don't forget, as another
Yeah.
LMDH car. Again, I'm just saying, maybe when you give people some regulations to work with, you can have a very good, healthy series.
Yep. Well, and actually, we didn't even talk about this I think we sorted it at the end of last week, but now that it's actually official, the Ram return to the Truck Series, that's official now.
And apparently
right?
they're looking at taking Honda.
Yep.
Which I don't blame them.
Yeah. So NASCAR has a fourth one. I wouldn't be surprised if after, we'll say a couple years, Dodge or Ram is looking at getting back into like Xfinity, maybe Cup Series.
Would be amazing.
Depending on how high they want to jump. So, meanwhile, IndyCar's going the completely wrong fucking direction.
They're not going in a direction. They just keep pushing it back until they figure something out. But they're not figuring anything
No,
out.
but again, wasn't it rumored that Honda was going to try and leave at some point? So then you're down to a single source.
Yes, which is
engine
probably
supplier?
why
So-
they keep pushing this back, because they don't have an engine plan, and you can't make an engine plan or a chassis plan without an engine.
Yep.
I have a
Yeah,
great idea for an
so-
engine plan. They're in the back of all the fucking LMDHs.
Nice.
Just go with that, and just go over to 3 manufacturers and say, build us a car based on these specifications.
Yep.
And then you can just swap in parts as they come. Why is this so hard? That's also a great way to keep costs down, is having multiple options for both chassis and engine. And then you can also swap them if you're a cheaper team and you want to buy used stuff. Go right ahead.
Yeah.
I don't understand
then-
why
and-
this is so hard to figure out.
Yeah. Well, and this got brought up on Teardown with Bianchi and Jeff Gluck. It's when you what happens when you bring in a new OEM? What happens to your some of your teams?
What?
You get better support because instead of being what is everybody joking that Josh Berry is this year? He's the 4th Penske car because technical agreement, right? So say Dodge comes in and they're like, Josh Berry looks like a good driver. We're gonna make or have them be part of our number 1 team, and they get all our support, which improves the overall product, which makes you more marketable, which makes you more money.
Yes.
See how this very quickly
Snowballs into
snowballs?
people wanting to win.
Yep.
I think an issue is in a lot of motorsports is that fine line of doing something to win and doing something to make money.
Yeah.
If you have too many people involved that want to make money, your series is not healthy. If you have everyone in the series who wants to win, you can do a lot. I think everyone in IMSA wants to win.
Yeah.
I think everyone in IndyCar wants to make money.
Yeah.
I think NASCAR is about 50-50.
F1 is definitely make money.
Yes.
So you cannot let the finance bros run everything.
Though, speaking of IMSA, did you see the Porsche 963 RSP?
I did not.
Okay. Look up the Porsche 963 RSP, and I will explain what it is. So what they did is they made a road, air quotes, legal Porsche 963.
Oh, God.
They built one. The RSP is for who it was built for, which is Roger S. Penske.
Yeah.
Penske gets his very own Porsche 963 that he can drive on the road. The man's old as hell. There's no way he's going to actually drive it. But
No.
It was in, I think, like in reference back to the old like Porsche, I think it was 917. that they made a couple road legal versions of. So they made one for the 963. And honestly, I would love to have that car. If I could have one car right now, like snap finger at that, it's that.
Yeah.
It has a cup holder. It looks hilarious. Like if you look at the photos of it, like you can see the inside. It's like all like leather interior shit they put on, just covering the inside. But yeah, it's road in air quotes legal.
Yeah.
LMDH. That's awesome.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, just thought you would like that.
Yep. No, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
God. The only thing that could make this better is if you actually had a passenger seat.
I know.
But that'd probably be too much fun.
That's where the golf clubs go. What do you mean passenger seats? Where I carry my golf clubs?
Fair enough.
In my trunk in the other side.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's kind of all I saw in the news. Also another thing in news is that the FIA passed a controversial amendment stuff to its whatever the hell it's this constitution or whatever. Basically a whole bunch of changes. Mohammed bin Suleiman wanted
more power.
Essentially, yeah. And they voted on it 80 to 20%. So good to see that's where the FIA is going down. Listen, motorsports is a very fascinating place right now. We don't have time to get into it, but like FIA could potentially be imploding based on its own. You want to become a dictator in the world of motorsports. Weird fucking flex, but okay. NASCAR is just trying everything, but also refuses to do anything and might get in shit for being a monopoly. That's fun. IndyCar is shooting itself in the foot with just doing nothing. IMSA and WEC are the greatest thing going in motorsports. I think drifting in terms of is one of the most popular things on TikTok in the world of motorsports.
100%.
Drifting and rally
videos I get.
Drifting and rally pops up all the time on TikTok and Reels.
Yep. Well, because it's very easy to get those condensed moments.
You know how badly I want to get
video.
just like dirt rally or whatever the hell it is, and just rock that from watching it on my phone.
Yeah. Be fun.
I'm going to do it one of these days.
Miss the old rally games.
Exactly. Once I get my actual sim rig set up down here, first got to buy it.
Yeah.
Then yeah, hell yeah, I'll be definitely rocking some rally games, get an e-brake, throw it on there. Fun as hell. And like everyone sees that and just goes, yeah, I can do that. No, you can't. But
no,
knowing you can't is half the fun.
Exactly. Until then, just Need for Speed.
Listen,
it's close enough for now.
I need to get my I rating up so I don't get demoted. I have like 2 days to try to gain like 0.1 safety rating. I had the absolute worst race of my life a few weeks ago that tanked my safety rating. I lost 1.2 safety rating in one race.
That's unfortunate.
Yes. So, yeah, I'm trying to get that back. It was atrocious.
Best of luck to you.
I was driving. It was GT4s and LMP2s in Detroit, Belle Isle. I had a connection issue also for some reason where I had, on the first lap, while no one was around me, 3 2Xs for car contact. And I'm like, there's no one. Where am I getting this car contact? Like literally,
there's
nobody
here.
I literally think someone was like, had like the connection meatball flag and was like probably blinking into everyone.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Got 6 car contact for that. Didn't even know a guy was there. Then my power went out mid-race.
Oh no.
Yes. So my whole thing shut down, went back up, and I go back in, wrecked me. So that was fantastic.
Oh, what a fun time.
Yeah, get back out, get punted again. And like, this is the thing. I'm like, I think I did like 3 laps, and I had 17 incident points.
Got to be a safer driver out there. You can't be
Shut
just...
the fuck up. I was so angry. Worst iRacing experience of my life.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah. Looking, like, you can honestly say, like, that's hilarious how bad of a luck it was.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those days I'm like, God damn it. I had spent like 30 minutes practicing too beforehand. Like, I was feeling good going in. I'm like, okay, I can compete. May not win, but I can be a top 5 guy. Not even. Just destroyed.
No. Move over, Fernando Alonso. This is the actual unluckiest man in motorsports.
For that day, I felt like it. I really did.
That or Carson Hocevar.
Yeah.
Because I know we didn't talk about Michigan, but the fact that he had not 1, but 2 blown tires in 2 different series while he was, I think, leading or
fighting for the
in
lead.
the top 5. Yeah, fighting for the lead.
He's going to win. I think he is going to win.
I hope so. The problem is he's been really good on the intermediate tracks, and I don't think... Do I still have the NASCAR schedule up?
Do you? Is there not many left? Is that the problem?
There's not a whole lot. Like, well, think about it. Which road courses have we not hit yet? You have Mexico, right? You've got... So here, actually, you know what? I'll just go to the next little bit.
Ooh, also from today, speaking of Mexico, Denny Hamlin's not going to race.
He's not going to race, really.
His wife, his wife has not given birth? I'm sorry, I think it's his fiance.
No, she did give birth.
How did she?
Yes, that was like an hour ago. It is, yeah. It's, the fact he's not going to race is interesting.
Yeah,
but
Ryan Truex is subbing in, it says.
Okay. I mean, Denny doesn't need the points. He's got 3 wins.
Listen, he doesn't. He shouldn't sit this out. He has to race.
Oh, because of the waiver thing. Yeah.
I 100%
you know what?
Will stand on and die on this hill. If NASCAR's gonna be a dick about the double in the waiver thing, you can still race. It's just a kid. Doesn't he already have a couple kids? What's the point?
It's his 3rd kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck it. It's not even special.
It's his first son.
Oh, whoop-de-doo. Oh, so guys are better than women now, huh? Is that what you're gonna do?
I'm sure if you put that in front of a couple of NASCAR guys, they'd probably say yeah.
Yeah, I'd put that in front of Dale Jr. See if he reacts to that one.
But your upcoming schedule, so you have Mexico City, you have Pocono, you have Echo Park, you've got Chicago, you got Sonoma, Dover, Indianapolis, Iowa, Watkins Glen, Richmond, Daytona.
Okay, yeah, so not a whole lot of intermediates.
Yeah, I think that...
Hocevar took a shot and came close, but maybe we have to go back to the early 2000s to get more of these intermediates back on the track.
Yeah.
Can we get Chicagoland back?
Actually, even the round of 16, you have Darlington, Gateway, Bristol, and then round of 12 is New Hampshire. Then you get Kansas.
Damn.
So. Yeah, bit of a run.
Oh, here's also a fun thing I also thought of for 2026 F1.
Yep.
And back to the Canada-Miami shenanigans.
Yep.
Miami race is also going to be a shit show next year.
Why is that?
It's less than a month before the Olympics, the World Cup.
Oh.
Miami is one of the venues.
Did not even think about that.
I don't think F1 does either because...
No.
So I cannot wait for next year.
Yep.
I hope it's the biggest shit show in the world.
We can hope.
For the content. Purely for the content.
Team Chaos.
100%. Is that all we got for this week, though? Or do you got anything else?
I think so. Yeah, we're gonna have a whole lot to cover next week.
We will. Okay, and on that wonderful note, thank you very much for listening to this week's episode. We'll be back next week to talk all things motorsports. Give us a like, subscribe, do all the fun things, and we'll see you then. Thank you, and goodbye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Spare Parts Racing Podcast. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and follow the show on Twitter at Spare Parts Racing. That's Spare Parts RACIN, and on TikTok at Spare Parts Pod. Follow the hosts at Sean Chavarella, at Stephen Clary, and at Tay Moore.